Hi guys, and welcome back to Rachel's Enchanting Cakes. Now today I'm going to show you how to do this stunning owl cake. If I just give him a little swirl, you see how he's on the bark there, completely freestanding, absolutely perfect. And believe it or not, it's great for a beginner. Why? I don't cover anything with one solid piece of fondant. So on the owl it's just little circles. All the bark's just covered in panels. It doesn't want to be neat, it wants that perfect bark effect. So I would recommend this to all beginners out there. I have used Dawn Butler's Cakeframe, an outstanding product that can just be used over and over again. All the fondant on there is one of my favourite brands, Renshaws. I'm going to take you through everything step by step like I always do. It's a complete tutorial. It's completely free. It's on my YouTube channel. If you're seeing this introduction on Facebook, you just want to click the Learn More button and it will just take you directly to YouTube. So yeah, let's give it a go. Come on, you can do anything you put your mind to. You just need all the right equipment, which everything is in this description on this tutorial just below the video. Everything that you will need to purchase. And give it a go, everyone. Happy baking. Remember to subscribe if you like what you see, and do please share it for me. Happy baking, guys, and let's get cracking. The main things that you're going to need for the start of this cake, I have placed here the four main colours that are actually on the cake, all by Renshaws. I have the deep purple, fuchsia pink, white, and the chocolate flavoured one. Those are the four main colours. I'm going to be using a little bit of Renshaws black fondant, as well as some golden yellow or orange for the nose, but these are the main colours you will actually need. I also have a 12-inch square baseboard by Cakeframe. This will come with these blanking caps. As well as that, you're also going to need a foundation piece. This is a long foundation piece. Again, I'm going to put all of these and a link to the site where you can purchase them from. Everything in detail in the description below this tutorial. And a 10cm rod. So what do you need to do first? Simply turn the baseboard upside down and place your long foundation piece through the central hole. Take your lock nut, this will come with the foundation piece in the foundation pack. Again, all of this is going to be in detail in the description, so you know exactly what to buy and the quantity. And just tighten that up like so. Then we're going to use our blanking caps. Again, this comes with the baseboard. And finally, this is called a rod. This is the 10cm rod, and simply place that into your foundation piece. Now you just want to get a small amount of melted chocolate and cover this part of the internal support. To give more definition to the base of my actual bark that's going to be going up, what I want to do is cover it with some cake. So the best way to do this is, all I have done is I have first of all got all of the cupcakes. This is the last one. And you literally just turn it into crumbs like that. I've also used the domes off the top of the two 6-inch round cakes. I've levelled them off, and that's also in there. I have made up exactly just one batch of buttercream. I do have a recipe for this on my YouTube channel, which I will leave in the description below. It's vanilla flavoured buttercream. You just add this to your crumbs. So some of this chocolate is still setting, but it doesn't matter. I'm wanting just to give this a little bit of definition going up. We could leave it like that if you wanted to, but it's going to be really boring, just straight and not doing anything. And this is why this is great, because this is completely edible. It tastes absolutely delicious. But if you're a beginner baker, it's even better because you're not wanting it to look neat. You know, the bark on a tree is the bark on a tree, which is why I thought this would be great for a first tutorial, because you've got all those lines going down there. You don't have to worry about covering something completely with fondant. So just build this up like so and get it to how you like it. That is looking perfect. If I just hold all of this up towards the camcorder, you see all those ridges, that is what you're wanting. You're not wanting something smooth. This is the bark on a tree. We haven't even added the chocolate fondant yet and put all the lines down, but when we do, it's just going to look fantastic. What I would recommend that you do now is simply place this in the fridge, because logically all this is filled with buttercream. It'll go that little bit harder just for when we do add that lovely chocolate fondant. We're then going to add a bark effect, and I'm going to show you how to construct the rest of this cake before we start on the owl. So now we want to add that lovely bark effect. For this, you're going to need the Renshaws Chocolate fondant, and I'm not lying, it smells absolutely delicious. Some icing sugar, a rolling pin, a knife and a Dresden tool. All I've done is rolled out a small amount. I've not used any spacers or anything, and you'll find that it's quite pliable, this chocolate fondant. It's lovely. What I plan on doing is cutting off panels, placing it on my cake that has been left in the fridge. I've left this in the fridge for about 45 minutes, and then we're going to make it look more like bark. This is why it's great, especially if you're a beginner, because you're not having to cover something all in one go and get it neat and perfect. We're actually going to be adding marks to this bark, so it doesn't have to go on there spot on. So just work with small panels and guide it onto your cake. And simply make indentations on there. That is the very simple, very easy effect that you're looking for. So now I'm just going to repeat that process. And that is the result you are looking for. Just like the bark from a real tree. Now, if you'll notice, just at the top where the cake frame is, you need to keep this completely clear. And that's because we're going to now be adding the rest of the cake frame. We're going to be doing a similar effect, but with the bark, but instead of using this cake coating that we've used on the bottom, we're just going to be using fondant due to the gravity. And then we can finally make a start on the owl. To create the rest of the bark that the owl's going to be perched on, you're going to need the following. A 6-inch round platform piece. Remember, everything you're going to need will be in detail in the description below this tutorial. A short foundation. This will actually come with the long foundation, so you'll only need one packet. These blanking caps here again will come with a platform. You're going to need 2 10cm rods and 1 5cm rod. These again all come in a set, the rods. These are called connectors. You're going to need 2 of those. 2 elbow joints. In one packet of elbow joints you get 2, and an X and a Y joint. So what are we going to do next? Take your X and Y joint and simply place it onto the top of your bark. See how it slots in beautifully. Then you want the 2 10cm rods, 1 on either side. Now take your adapters. Now once you've pushed these on, they will be on, but it doesn't matter because they can be a bit tough sometimes, and that's really good because it holds everything together. one of your elbow joints. Now I wanted to give this a little bit more of a, I didn't just want a straight branch, so I'm placing one elbow joint facing down and the other elbow joint, if I move this more towards the camera now, facing up. But again, that's still, it was too symmetrical for a branch, which is why I have the 5 centimetre rod, just to make this branch that little bit higher. Okay, so this is where our owl's going to be perched, and this is where the platform comes into play. Now I have designed this so in transportation you're going to be able to take this part and transport the owl separately. I'm going to show you how to do that now. So you simply place in your foundation piece like you've done before, just like so, and screw on your lock nut. Now that, where the long part is just underneath, will fit beautifully just onto there. It just slots on. So then this is where your cake's going to be, but if you just pop on the blanking caps first, what you would do in transportation is just gently lift that off, pop your owl into a box. You would want to put a little bit of kitchen roll under here because there's a slight rim. Pop this in another box, and then once you get to the venue, you can just lift your owl up and safely place him back on top. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to take this part off because we don't need that just yet, and we're going to make the bark effect on this part of the cake frame. Just like I did with the base of the bark, we're going to be adding some melted chocolate first, just so it acts more like a glue for the fondant. So simply melt a small amount of chocolate and just place it with a knife over your cake frame. So you get the idea. I'm now going to cover all of this just so I don't bore you to death, and then we're going to make a start by adding some extra indentations using fondant before we repeat the process that we did with this gorgeous Renshaws Chocolate fondant over the top. So as you can see, I have covered it in chocolate. I just want to point out for all the hobby bakers out there, these frames are completely reusable. So they're not only food grade, but what I will do after this tutorial is completed and the cake's been eaten, you just take all the pieces apart, wash them in warm soapy water, and you can use them over and over and over again. So if you're wanting to stun your family and friends with an absolutely outstanding gravity defying cake and make them think, oh my God, how has she or he done that? This is what you're wanting to purchase, because once the cake's been eaten, you can use this again. If you're a professional baker and you're in business, all I do is add the price of the cake frame to the price of the cake, because obviously it can be a bit unprofessional asking for the parts back. But for all you hobby bakers out there, or those wanting to build a portfolio even, they're fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. So let's start by adding some of this. Now what I thought, we'll use the crumbs on the bottom, but because this is a little tad more gravity defying, I don't really want to use crumbs, so I'm just going to roll random shapes just to make it a little bit more bark-like. Okay, so you get the basic idea. If I just hold this up to the camcorder, there you go. So all I'm going to do now is repeat exactly what I did with the bottom. So we're going to be rolling out some of this, placing it on the top in small amounts, just so it's easy for you. And then we're going to be using a Dresden tool to create the bark effect. Okay then, so I've rolled out my chocolate Renshaws fondant. I'm now just going to cut off a panel, just like so, and place it straight over the top. Remember, you've got ridges underneath there. I'm going to put a little bit on the end just here. I'm just going to hold that to the camcorder just so you can see it for now. This is a great thing about this cake, it doesn't need to be smooth. And then just like the base, get your Dresden tool and draw lots of lovely lines. Remember, it's the bark of a tree. And that is literally all you need to do. So if I show you that side, that's the side that I've covered with the chocolate fondant. I just need to do the end here. That's the side that hasn't been covered yet. Can you see the difference? I'm going to now cover the other side just so I don't bore you to death, using the same method as I've just done with that, and then we can finally start on that gorgeous owl. Before we can add the cake, we need to add his cute little feet just underneath first, because those are going to be underneath this platform. So all I've done here is rolled out a simple sausage shape, but made one of the ends just slightly more pointy. That's going to go towards the top. Just place it gently on there, so you've got 3 cute little toes. And then for the back of the cake, I just turn it round. You just want a small bowl. Remember, all this is going under the platform, just to cover, just like so. And what we want to do now is simply place our platform on the top. If I put it at an angle for you, move it out of the way, you can see how cute it's going to look. So we've got the feet in place. We're now going to build the cake actually on here. So that's going to be our next step. To add the cakes, all I have done is levelled both of my 6-inch round to exactly 4.5 centimetres and cut the dome part off just underneath my bowl cake like so, so they're all smooth. What you want to do first, in the centre of one of your 6-inch cakes, just because this part is slightly raised, just cut a cross shape and then remove some of the cake. Just like so, just so you've got a little hole so that it can go on there, no problems. I've made up another batch of my buttercream. This particular cake I'm using is my classic Victoria sponge recipe, which you will also find on the channel. I'll leave another link for that for you, as well as the buttercream. I'm now going to cover this 6-inch platform with some buttercream, just so it acts like a glue. Smooth that out slightly. Glue on there. Okay, so now I'm going to take the cake that I have put my little hole in and just place it the other way around. See how it sits on there, lovely and level now. That's lovely. So when I fill my Victoria sponge cakes with jam, I like to create a dam first. So if you just get your piping bag and go around the outside. And now you want to add your jam. My favourite is Heartless jam. See what I mean about adding an awful lot of fillings? This will not bulge if you leave it in the fridge long enough. You just have to be extremely patient and make sure that this dam around the outside is thick enough. Then again, just for ease, using the piping bag, go over the top of your layer of jam. Now, just for stability, before I add the domed part of the cake, I am actually going to place this into the fridge. If you want, you can place the whole lot in the fridge, so just lift it up like so. But as I explained, for transportation reasons, it's been made so that it comes apart, look. So there's our little legs. I'm just going to place that in the fridge just to let this buttercream set slightly before we get to the next step. So I've just taken this out of the fridge and I'm just going to repeat the last step. So another rim of buttercream. And then add the dome part of your cake. Okay then. So now I'm going to use what's left in my piping bag first, just so we don't waste anything. And you might find this slightly easier. And you just start to fill in all of the gaps. And then once you've covered the whole cake, I know I haven't yet, I will do that off camera, but basically if I come to the side, all you then want to do is smooth it out. It's really, really simple. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth because we are covering this cake with fondant. But again, we're not covering it in one piece of fondant, so that's why this is absolutely perfect if you are a beginner baker. So completely cover this, place it back in the fridge just by gently lifting it off, and then we can start decorating our stunning owl cake. This is where the cake really starts to come together. So what have I done? Well, first of all, I have my three main colours by Renshaws. So I've got the white, the deep purple and the fuchsia pink. And I've just cut circles out using a small circle cutter. You're going to need some edible glue and a paintbrush. I'm just going to come to the side first and I'll remove these. And we're going to start around this area with the white. Don't worry if it overlaps. So I want to keep everything central. Place one about there. And simply stick on the circles. I've brought this closer to the camera just so you can see exactly what I am doing. So you get the basic idea. What I'm going to do, I'm going to continue to cover this cake and then show you how to do the eyes, the nose and the ears. But you're probably thinking this part that's overlapping, when you do transfer this top cake in a separate box, it would damage the fondant. Now if you want it overlapping, what I would recommend is that you take some spare circles to the venue and you actually put the circles on the bottom when you get there. Or you can keep it as simple as you want to. I'm just going to place my finger on the top and you just gently cut off the bottom so that it's level with your 6-inch platform. It really is as easy as that. So I'm going to cover this cake, show you what it looks like and then show you how to add those perfect finishing touches, including that fantastic grass. And how amazing does that look? If I just give him a gentle swirl just so that you can see all of the sides, the back, you can see the branch. I have to excuse my turntable, guys, it's a bit squeaky. That is what you're looking for. Now again, I've already prepared the eyes, the ears and the nose, but they're very, very simple shapes. So I'll take an eye, literally all circles. For this, I've used the white Renshaws, the turquoise, the jet black, and again, for the ears, which I have placed on cocktail sticks for support, the fuchsia pink and the purple. And I'm going to have to go to an angle, I think, to be able to do this for you. If we just can you see him and I can see him at the same time? So just using a small amount of edible glue. So for the ears, we want them down either side. So I'm just using a small amount of edible glue on the top, just in a straight line. That's all. And then we're just going to push these in. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of all this excess icing sugar, neaten this guy up a little bit, and then I'll show you how to do the grass, and we are finished. So for the grass, as you can see, it's all come together now. All you need to do is make up another batch of my lovely buttercream, turn it green, and I am using, if I hold this up towards the camcorder, you see how the nozzle looks? It's a Gem 234 nozzle. You use it for fur, you can use it for grass. This is the large one. If you just Google or Amazon for that particular number, Gem 234 piping nozzle. So if I just come to the side, all you do, I'm going to start near the bark, squeeze and pull. You see how it gives that absolutely lovely grass effect? A bit further up here, squeeze and pull. And you literally just want to cover all of this cake frame board and then you'll have your grass. So I'll finish this off and show you what it looks like. And there you go, he's all finished. It's amazing what a little bit of buttercream and the right equipment can do. Now remember, if you are making this for somebody, I highly advise that the cake must come off the top. So for this, you just gently lift it off like I've done many times in this tutorial. Place it in a box, well protected, and take this part of the internal support separately. This would not survive a car journey if you just left it like this. That's why I've designed it so it will come apart and you can get it to the venue. So if you're new to baking, you've seen how easy this is to do, especially if you're not very good at working with fondant. That just takes a lot of time and practice. Trust me, you will get there in the end. This is something that will truly stun your family and friends. So give it a go. Use any colours that you want. Just be creative and enjoy it, everybody. Happy baking. I hope I've inspired you again today, and I will be back soon with a lot more inspiring creative tutorials.